pleasure to be able to be with you today when we discuss your great play, The Tavern.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a few questions here
Right?
I'd like to ask you. And the first one is, what drew you into wanting to direct George M. Cohan's The Tavern at the Old Town Playhouse?
I read it, and I liked it. I could hear the thunder and the music and the wonderful old-fashioned style. And I thought, I want to try this. I want to do this. The melodrama, the characters, each one of them are their own little play. You know, they're beautiful characters, and mix them all together, and you get a great potpourri on stage. And I was really, really attracted by. I wanted to have these, lovely footlights, and the cheesy rain curtain back there. And at almost the last minute, we had added the tree behind the window, and of course Dick Seaslick is up there for 2 hours pulling a string, making the curtain shake and the tree shake, and it's a wonderful effect. I think it's awesome. So.
The opening's really fantastic. With the lights shining through the window panes, and also the opening of the door, very, very good.
All of that, the door is a focus in the play. The lightning and thunder are written into the script. The music is mine. I said, we gotta have a piano. We gotta try making it sound like and look like an old movie or an old play, where they underscore the characters with music. And Matt, marvelous. He said,
I think they did a little bit better than just.
Oh yeah, he was just wonderful. He said, I said, you just go for it. If I don't like it, we'll talk. But go for whatever you want to do.
So you just picked up the script, and
it.
you didn't know anything about it for the most part. And where were you at the time that you were reading the script?
In my kitchen.
And did you know right as soon as you finished the script, or after the first page, that this is something that you
I had to read it all.
You had to read the whole thing?
Yeah. I've read so many scripts over the years, and I know to read it all. Sometimes read it twice. And then I, applied to direct, because I really liked it.
Were you surprised when you were chosen by the board?
Because I had heard a rumor that there were a couple other people interested in doing it. I know Jan brought the play to the board, and I wasn't sure whether or not he had applied. And then there was another person that had applied, that had interest in doing it, so I had my fingers crossed.
So what'd you think when you got the phone call or the email?
I'm like, yes, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try it.
My other question, what challenges did you anticipate prior to the rehearsals, and were they easily resolved?
Challenges prior to rehearsal.
And that could be anything.
Casting.
Structural.
Casting is always a challenge.
Was that what you found that to be the biggest challenge at that point?
Well, because you never know who's going to show up. And if you're lucky enough, like I was really lucky to have a great group of people show up for auditions and gave me an opportunity to actually select, well, okay, I want that one for that part, and that one for that part. I've been here when there's a 5-person show and 4 people show up and you're on the phone for the next 2 days trying to find number 5.
I've been there where the 6 people that showed up were the people that got cast, and they were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And I just went, oh my God, the gods of theater were looking over my shoulder.
So, casting is always a challenge. Finding, arranging to get the set built was a challenge for me, because the show I did last year, my friend Dan Mello said, I'll take care of building the set for you. And I'm like, cool. This time I had to go and say, knock, knock, fellas. Who can take over being the chief set builder? Because Glenn had said to me, can I try designing? And I about melted. Glenn, I have adored for years. He built probably 3 of the most beautiful costumes I've ever worn were built by Glenn. And
Isn't he residing downstate?
mm-mm,
No, he's back in town.
he's here in Traverse City. He's
He moved away for a while there.
I'm not sure. He might have, but he worked at Penny's for quite a while.
Oh.
And he's done costuming here.
Mm-hmm.
His good friend Stash,
Mm-hmm.
who was our, what do you call it, technical manager for quite a while here, moved downstate and back. But I think Glenn's been here. But
What's Glenn's last name, was it?
Gothier.
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 Mm-hmm. And were you pleased with the turnout at the audition?
I loved the turnout at the audition, yes. I was very pleased.
You had a lot of good
I
choices
had
to choose
choices,
from.
and good choices.
And you cast it well.
And I did. I think I did. And they're wonderful people, every one of them. Well, one of the fun choices was I chose Sarah West for Violet. Charming little redhead, you know, she's so cute. And her dad auditioned, and he'd never auditioned before, he'd never been on stage. And I knew that we needed a deputy. What a perfect opportunity to get somebody brand new.
He had the right face
Yeah,
for that
yeah.
role.
And when I told him, he went, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, would you take the part?" And he said, "I'd love to. I get to work with my daughter. I've never done this before, and yeah, that would be great." So he had a few lines, and he comes in and he's enjoying this. I think we've got a new Old Town Playhouse player.
Okay. Whose idea was it to implement visual sound effects and piano accompaniment?
Those were mine. The sound effects are indicated in the script. They tell you when there's a crash and the lightning and the thunder. But I wanted the audience to see the Foley sound. So yes, I put them over here on stage left, just outside of the set area. The theater has this lovely little space over here that worked just perfectly for that, so that the audience could see them. And not be distracted by them. I didn't think, although somebody said to me, "Yeah, I think they're gonna draw too much focus. I think they'll be distracting." And I have not found that, and I've had people comment, how nice, I get to see it, and then I'm right into the play, and then I hear what they're doing, and I know what they're doing, and I look back, but
You gave them an opportunity to be able to go back
yeah.
70, 80 years. To be able
And
to
the
see something
piano?
like that.
There's no piano in the script, but I know George liked the piano, because melodrama to me is music. I hear music. When I read the script, I could hear a piano or an organ, something that would underscore the action and the characters, the bad guy and the pretty lady, and so I asked Matt, and he ran with the ball and touched down, and he did a great job.
The Parsons, did they ever do this before?
No.
They looked like they had been doing it for like 20 years.
Well, we started about 3 weeks before the show went up, so they would have a chance to rehearse this and feel comfortable doing it for the show. John and Judy are new to the Playhouse. They came a year or so ago, and they've done props backstage. And Judy said to me, "Boy, I'd like to try something else, maybe like stage crew or something." And when I knew we were going to do this show, I knew the props were going to be fairly minimal. There's not much in the way of props for the show. And had another friend, Sherry, who wanted to help with props, and John and Judy. And I said, "But John and Judy, I got an idea. Would you be willing to be on stage doing the live sound effects, the thunderboard and the wind machine and the gunshots and And they said, sure. Like, cool, you get a costume and everything. And, you know, that and the piano, it just works beautifully.
It sure does.
And it does take people back, along with footlights. Footlights are, they give the set shadows that you can't get any other way. They give a look to the actors that you can't get any other way but lighting from below. And I would have liked to had, these are fine, but they're very bright. And I would like to have like 8 smaller, lower, so that you could get a lot of light without it being so intense.
Blaring.
Yeah. So if I ever do footlights again, I'll have somebody design that for me.
The dresser?
Well, yeah, we'd have to have footlights for that, wouldn't we? Have to. Yeah, because it's a look you just have, you know, it's a look you gotta have if you take a show back, like this one.
Share some of your comments regarding performances by Rick Korndorfer as the Vagabond, Mary Scott O'Connor's role as Violet, and Sarah West as Virginia, the governor's daughter.
Okay. Other than I'm so very pleased with what they're doing with those roles, Rick and I talked about that character. We spent probably an hour, just the two of us, sitting up here, talking about this character. I had an opinion of what I wanted to see, and I wanted him to be on track with that 100%, or it wasn't going to, you know, we would have to negotiate constantly, and I didn't do that. I saw this vagabond as being this joyful person. He has joy in him, and he's a wanderer, and we find out at the end that, you know, he's wandered away. But yeah, but not, you know, he's not dangerous person,
No.
and who knows why he may have been kept in an asylum.
Like Don Quixote.
Yeah, but and he's always a little bit outside of everyone, looking at them, being the audience, as he says. And this had to be joyful. This had to be that kind of light spirit that, in my opinion, keeps the play light, keeps the audience liking him. You like people that smile, you know.
Right.
And that kind of energy drives it on and moves it on. And at times he'd want to play serious. I said, well, you do that, it's like a cloud going over the moon. The light goes up. I said, you've got to keep him joyful, keep him smiling, keep him light, keep him bright.
That was the right direction to go, because, I mean, there was really nothing in the play that warranted any kind of serious play on his part. I mean, he's, like you said, he's the audience member, and he's totally amused by
By
everything that's
everything.
going around.
And says so often. Yeah. And Mary Scott, my dear friend Mary Scott, asked me, she said, can I take this where I want to go with it? And I said, what do you want to do? And she said, I may want to have 4 personalities with this. I said, go for it. Let me see. I think, you know. And so she did. And she comes out in one, she's like Katharine Hepburn, and she's like blah, blah, blah. And she changes. So you've got this really crazy lady going through all these different personalities every time you see her on stage, and I think it works beautifully. I love it. I just love it. She's so strong. You can't take your eyes off her.
It was really a class in how to play melodrama. She did it absolutely exquisite. I mean, it was just like a hand that reached out to the audience at that moment and just grabbed everybody by the shirt collar and just yanked you right on stage. Like, listen, this is going to be a fun play.
Yes. Yeah. It's okay to laugh, people.
I mean, it was...
And little Sarah, who you mentioned in your review, and it was a dancer.
Right.
We saw her in Evita as the tango dancer, beautiful dancer. She auditioned, and she just looked like that very early 20s, and you know, Glenn fell in love with the costume he had for her, that lovely dress and coat that she wears. And she came up with this little sweet, cute brat that she is on stage, where she, at times, is kind of rude to her dad and flirty and charming, just charming. Just keep going, keep it going, get it, you know, make it bigger, let's go. And she did, and give her a note, and away she'd go. So,
Being a dancer, she really knew how to express herself through her body language,
Mhm.
and she did it just incredibly.
I think between you and me and whoever watches this, the hardest thing that she had to come to is it's okay to look out to the audience. She would work with Rick eye to eye, and that's okay. But if minute he gets like a foot upstage of her, we lose. And this play, you can definitely say, no, I won't, and look out to your audience. Give your audience the face. I said, you know, it's a melodrama. You can do that. And so she learned that little trick.
She just was not born in the right era.
Oh.
If she was born back in 1906, she would have been given a ticket to Hollywood,
I think so.
and she would have been a major star
I
with
think
that,
so.
with that
Yeah,
face.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, she's cute as a bunny. She's just darling. So, yeah.
Incredible. Speaking of Glenn, did the set and costume designs by Glenn Gauthier
Got you. Mm-hmm.
meet your expectations?
Yes. Yeah. Well, Glenn, we started with costumes, and he gave me some drawings, and yeah. He researched the era, the time, found things. He's a real stickler for detail.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were talking costumes one day upstairs, I said, you know, the person that was going to do my set design can't do it. His eyes got really big. He said, could I try? And I said, oh, please. Oh, yes, Glenn, yes, you may. So he went home, and I said, you know, we have these three elements. We have to have a staircase.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have a fireplace, and we have to have a door.
And you took it from there.
Mm-hmm.
Boy.
Yeah. He wanted an Inglenook fireplace.
It just really kept all the energy
Mm-hmm.
where it needed to be,
Mm-hmm.
and the color coordination it just really works. And he designed the costume as well.
As well.
It just works so well.
Mm-hmm.
So you were very
Thrilled.
pleased, thrilled.
Thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over the top thrilled. When we had our first costume parade, oh my goodness, look at them. They're just gorgeous.
So what advice do you have to offer any potential producers of George M. Cohan's The Tavern?
Understand the man. My producer, Michael T. Holland, is a great research guy. He found, I think everything that was ever written about the Tavern, and a lot that was written about George M. And you have to understand that he's an Irishman,
Right.
and there's a spirit in that.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Being an Irish woman myself,
Oh,
I understand
my
that.
grandmother's part. Huh?
There you go. So you know.
Right.
And you have to understand that he lived theater. He lived music, dance, acting. This is his life.
James Cagney's right from the
Yeah,
St. Clover.
yeah. And so when you understand the man, you know what he's, you know, that he took a play that he bought, basically, and then put himself in it. And that's who you see on stage, is George.
You know, I understand that when the Tavern first came out, the critics didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just got riddled by the vast majority of the critics of that day. And then the fellow that was Daly, I believe the actor's name was, that was playing the part of the vagabond, he ended up leaving the show at some point in time, and then Cohan took over the part.
And brought it to life.
And brought the whole thing to life, and then it was on Broadway for a full year or more. Major success.
250 plus performances, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, that's big.
So that's that would be your
Yeah,
advice.
and I think
to
that's an
anyone.
advice for any playwright, any script. If you know, do your research.
Find out where their heart.
Yeah,
is.
find out where the passion is. Find out where the heart is. What is the era they came from? What were the cultural highlights of that? That all is in the play. That'll all be there. And you find it if you do your background research. It's fun.
So all you producers out there, listen well, because this is one great show. She knows what she's talking about. Do you believe that George M. Cohan's 92-year-old play, The Tavern, holds up creatively alongside contemporary productions today? And why?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it's timeless. There are no issues in this play that will be, what word am I looking for? Start again. Yeah, it'll go on and on because there isn't any issue that will be ignored 10 years from now.
It doesn't have any real clear-cut plot or
No.
theme that would be considered passé
Yeah,
nowadays.
that's it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, or tomorrow. It does have some language that is
but that's
cute.
That's cute.
Today.
That's cute. Yeah.
Master, my wench. And I read those and I went, okay, and then he has a couple comments about women that I hear the women rumble in the audience every night when he says, I've never been particularly fond of women. Or what's the one about on her way to hell, I think, which is the path of most women, that kind of thing. And I thought, wow, was he having trouble with his wife or something when he wrote this? Because he married a lovely Irish lady and had children, so they stuck together.
He had a great life.
Yeah.
Except for when Actors Equity came into
Right,
his life.
and he had that little war and his own styled retirement when he kind of walked away from all of that.
I mean, I personally feel that George Cohan is 99% perfect, except for that one issue.
Well,
On the Actors Equity. And it was so funny because when he was with his family, the four Cohans, they were real successful. And one fellow was in charge of all the vaudeville theaters across the country. And they didn't feel as if they were getting a fair shake from him. So then they went ahead and they left. And then they went to legitimate theater. And so how he would be able to justify that when Actors Equity is only trying to give actors and the craftspeople a fair shake, why he would be so obstinate against it.
Perhaps because he
The
did
wheels-
give people a fair shake
Well,
and felt why is it needed. I don't know.
Well, one party pointed that he was a producer, so they were kind of taking a quarter out of his profit to a certain degree.
No, that could be too.
That's probably what it was.
He made a lot of money. He owned theaters, he owned shows, he wrote a gazillion songs. 500? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's close to a gazillion.
That's pretty darn close. But anyway, 99% perfect, and that's good enough for me.
Works for me too.
After the final curtain falls on your production, what single memory will you have to remind you of this experience in producing The Tavern?
Wow, single memory. That's hard. Perhaps the very beginning of the show. when the lights in the house go out and the lightning starts and the piano and the sound effects people over here start. And the audience goes, oh, you can hear them, oh. It's fun. It is so much fun to hear that.
Right.
And I had decided to put my sound effects people on stage where the audience could see the Foley sound working rather than backstage.
I would say that would be mine as well. The theater that I ran in California, the very first production that we did in the renovated theater was Picnic. And I remember standing up by the light room, and just like what you had just described, the lights coming up, the music coming in, the first entrance of an actor, and I was just absolutely taken in. And for all the years, so it was like about 6 years there, that is the one moment that I always go back to.
Yeah, I think that'll be it for me too.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would like to say that hasn't been said?
Crew. You have actors, you have designers, my lighting gal, Cinder, and we talked about set, and we talked about sound, Gary Bolton, and Don Keelhorn, who built the wind machine and brought in the
Don,
thunderboard.
great job. Really great
Took
job.
a Sunday afternoon and built that thing, and it works beautifully. But yeah, that group of people who are behind the scenes that nobody gets to see are so important to any production, any production.
Right.
And I'm blessed with a really talented, great crew.
Yeah. Really fantastic. Thank you, Denny.
You're welcome.
You bet.
Thank you.